Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Forward Farming. You have Becca today behind the mic. I am using our new platform, I don't know if you want to call it that, to record. So hopefully this all goes well and I don't mess it up. We're using Riverside now. If you use it, let us know. We think we're going to go with the paid version. We were using Zoom in the past, which was fine, but I don't know, we wanted to kind of try something new. So that's where we're at. I'm probably going to drink a lot of water today because my throat is just super dry. My mother is in town. We started painting my kitchen cabinets many years ago. It's probably been like 4 years. I am not even joking. But they were just like kind of wooden, whatever. And so we started painting them a really pretty, like olive green, dark green. I don't know. And so we had like half of it done. And then I painted the countertops not too long ago. And my mom was like, okay, back up before you go to work. I'm coming. We're finishing these cabinets because it looks fine, but it looks silly at the same time because it's like half done, half not. So that's what we're doing this week. But basically, I've been talking all morning, and I'm not used to talking all morning or like all day at all, really. So my throat is just kind of, I don't know, dry and scratchy. My allergies are also acting a fool because the corn started tasseling last week, which is obviously very good. We have not had a ton of rain, but the corn looks amazing. Well, I shouldn't say amazing, but it looks good for the conditions that it's had to grow in. It's not quite as tall as it normally is, but it's all tasseling, and that's great and all, but not great for Becca's allergies or my kids' allergies for that matter. But we're surviving. Between that and the smoke from Canada, it just kind of set us off. But yeah, we're doing good. So today, I had a lot of requests to do. So many requests. Okay, I had like 2 people that said it would be really cool to do a birth story on farrowing out the piglets. So before I get into that, I was gonna do like highs and lows, maybe a goal for the week, just because, we used to do that. If you're an OG listener, we used to do it every week. That's how we started out our podcast, and we kind of got sick of it. But I'm gonna bring it back today because then I'll talk for more than 10 minutes, right? So my high for the week is going to be the successful farrowing of our pigs. Obviously, I'll talk more about that, but it was our first time doing it, and it went, I think, about as good as it could have. So, yeah, we'll get more into that once we get through the rest of this awkward intro. But let's see. I think my low for the week. My other high. We went to Joey's grandpa's cabin where we go hunting. We went there yesterday, Sunday, and Joey had to spray off the food plots, and we kind of just made a day out of it because it's a little over an hour to get there, so it's a process. And it always is like getting the kids ready and like in the truck, and then getting everything else ready. Like it's like, why are we doing this? Like, I'm sure people can relate to this kind of thing. But then once you're up there, it's great. And so that was a nice day. We went swimming in the pond. I normally don't go in just because, I don't know, I don't really like cold water and whatever. But I brought my swimsuit. It was pretty warm out. And I did the thing while Joey was spraying the pastures. Me and the kids went swimming. They kind of actually pushed me in. I knew I didn't want to touch the water before I got in because then I probably wouldn't have gotten in. So I like had them count down to 10. Oh, excuse me. And that didn't work. Like I still didn't jump. And so finally I kind of went to the edge. And then Sophia was like, "Joe, push her." And he did. So then I jumped in. I'm sipping on some peach iced tea. Delicious. So anyways, jumped in. It was very refreshing. It was a little chilly, but like not too bad. So it was a really fun day. Okay. My low for the week, I probably should have thought this through since I am here alone and I don't have time to stall. Uh, I think my low for the week. Back up, pull it together. Is okay. My low for the week is gonna be how I don't want to say how I acted last week, but last week it was long, and um I don't. There was a full moon. We had the holidays, so we like had a lot of late nights. There was no sorry, I told you I'm drinking a lot. I'm just parched. We didn't have any daycare for the week, and like it was long. The kids argued constantly. It seemed like, and normally they get along pretty well. So I don't know if it was just because they were like together all the time, and then obviously our routine was kind of wacky because we had a few late nights, and then kids don't actually sleep in when they have late nights. They're up early again. And yeah, so it was a long week. I yelled more than I would have liked to. I actually downloaded a parenting book on Audible. I've never listened to a parenting book before. And I honestly didn't even get that far into it because I couldn't listen and have like peace and quiet to listen to it because the kids were like going crazy in the back. So that's just, it is what it is. But I think that's just my low. Like we made it through. I tried to do fun things, but like things are expensive and I am not working yet. So I'm just trying to be kind of cautious of our money and yeah, all the things. But it turned out fine. They're back at school today. I think we're kind of going to get back in a rhythm. And I don't know, maybe I'll get to listen to my parenting book this week and see if it has any suggestions of what I could have done better. But I know that other people kind of deal with this stuff. You're not going to see it on social media. Like, I didn't put it on social media because I almost like ashamed of how much they were like acting a fool. And I know I messaged Amber at one point because I was like, I need someone to just vent to, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, Porter has not been that great of a child either this week." So I'm thinking, maybe what is that like when Mercury's in retrograde or whatever that is, and the full moon, like maybe it was just a fluke week for everyone. So if your kids were turds last week, you're not alone. Okay. That got long winded. My goal for this week not only is to paint the cabinets or to finish painting them, I kind of just like want to I say organized a lot, and you guys know I'm not good at that, but I start my job next week. So I kind of just want like to get the house in order a little bit. We were doing good until last week. Everything kind of just hit the fan. So that's kind of my goal is just to kind of get things organized. I already got mostly all of the school shopping done, which that's pretty awesome. I'm pretty proud of myself for that. I did most of it on Amazon. I'm not going to lie. They had good sales the other week, and a lot of it actually too, it was like cheaper to buy in bulk, which duh, but like some things it was like the same price to buy a pack of 3 as it was to buy a pack of 1. And so I did that because Sophia and Joe, like some of their stuff overlapped, and then sometimes they want to like do stuff at home, and so now we've got some extra coloring supplies and stuff. So that was pretty cool. Joe got his very first backpack, which was cool. I had to get Sophia one too because I just knew if you've got more than one child, it's like you can't buy one thing for one child and then not buy it for the other. I mean, maybe you can. Like, this is probably just poor parenting, but I knew that Sophia would be sad if she didn't get a new backpack as well. So, her other backpack is still in pretty good shape, actually. But, we'll use it for, like, sleepovers and stuff like that. So, I at least have that done. And, like, mostly put together because, gosh, it's like in, I don't know, a month? A little over a month that they'll have their open house already. Wow. So, Wow. Yeah, end of August. That's crazy. So I'm glad that that's kind of done with. I don't have to worry about beating the crowds. I know that I went to Walmart this morning and like they now have all their school stuff out and stuff, but yeah, I don't have to worry about it. Okay, so that's just my goal is to just kind of keep on keeping on and just kind of get things organized. I've got a couple things that need to go to like Goodwill and stuff like that. But all right, into the goods of the episode. We ferreted out our first guilt. I'd say no. I guess she's a sow now. But so if you're new to pigs, and I want to start this by saying I am not an expert. We've raised feeder pigs for 3 or 4 years now. This might be the fourth. I don't know. We've raised feeder pigs, but it's a lot different when you get them at like 20, 25 pounds and then raise them out until they're fat. And it's, I don't want to say it's easy, but it's, oh my gosh, I need to figure out how to like mute this for when I'm dying. Mute mic. Okay, I'll try to be better at that. Sorry, you guys. I sound gross. But you know, once you get them, nothing really goes wrong with pigs. Like if I feel like if we've had a couple die in the past, and it's like literally they're fine, and then they just die. Oh, you can't even mute while recording. Oh, you can mute while recording. Okay, sorry, I'm just trying to figure out this new app that we're using. Okay, anyway, so yeah, raising feeder pigs is obviously a lot different than farrowing them out. And last year, it was really hard to find feeder pigs. We got them really late because the ones that were like, you know, normally you would get them in the spring, they'd be ready by fall, and you could barely find them. And the ones you did find were like super expensive. Like, I don't think we could have, not that we're making a ton of money off of them, but like, I think we would have lost money if we would have bought those pigs and then tried to sell them. Unless we like raised our prices, but we didn't really want to do that either because, you know. So anyways, last year when we did finally find them, we got them from two different people. And one of the gilts was really cute. So that's how this started. She was really cute. And we decided we'd keep her back to breed her. So then this, oh, excuse me. Hopefully that muted. That was, yeah, okay. So, I'm trying to think when it's July now. So, like 5 months ago. So, January, February, whatever. It was in the winter. I reached out to my old professor at UW Platteville that runs the swine facility. And I was like, hey, like, do you have any boars for sale? And, sure enough, she had one. So it was a young boar that we bought. I had a couple questions on like breeds and stuff. I know that he's Duroc. I don't know if he's a crossbred or not, but like he looks like a Duroc. And I am not entirely sure what the other one was. She's a crossbred of some sort. She looks like she's got some Burke in her just by her coloring. She's like all black with some brown spots. So, yeah, I don't know if you're more well versed with the pig breeds, and I want to like take a gander at her. Maybe I'll post a picture of her, but I know that he is at least mostly Duroc. So anyways, we got him and got them pregnant. I don't know if I've talked about this on the podcast. It was a process. It took a couple months. Basically, when she was in heat, we'd put them together. She's not that old, but like she was bigger than him almost. So I had to like help him do the deed, which that's a story for another day. But eventually it stuck and she got pregnant, and we knew that she was pregnant because she like wanted nothing to do with him. She was like, Peter, like, don't even look at me. So we separated them again. I don't know what happened. Like if he maybe knew she was pregnant then, he stopped messing with her, and they were always breaking in together. So eventually we let them be together, like the true love story. We probably should have named them Romeo and Juliet. Instead we got Peter and Petunia, but so they kind of moved houses a few times. Like we wanted them to be outside when it got warmer out so that we could run a sprinkler on them and let them have like a mud pit and stuff like that. And we did that a couple months ago and they just kept getting out. Um, and like we had two pens next to each other so that they were like still by each other, but they kept breaking in to be with each other. And so we were like, okay, well, that it wasn't safe at that point because um, there's you can have problems like when they farrow that the boar sometimes will like eat the piglets, and obviously we didn't want that to happen. So we also wanted her to calve in the to calve. Tell me you're a dairy farmer. We wanted her to farrow in the barn just because then we could hang a heat lamp for the pigs if needed. There's a fan that we have on her, and it's just out of the elements. Like there's so many factors that go into it, and being so new, I know that some people do it out on pasture and like have no problems, but for our first time at least, we wanted to be in control of as much as we could, I guess. You could say that. So we ended up moving her back into the barn, like back where she originally was. And she could not get out of there. So we were good. Well, Peter could still get out of his. So, I don't know if you follow me on Instagram, I'm sure you saw this. I feel like maybe we probably would have talked about it on the podcast, but um, Peter got out one morning and like and Petunia was out as well. I think this might be before we moved her into the barn again, but and then she let Sassy out and like it was such a mess. I actually have oh, yeah. Sorry, little buttons are popping up. Okay. Um if you go to my Instagram, I saved it all as a highlight because it was just like one thing after another. Um so anyways, we got him back in his pen and then we put the electric fence up and he's been fine ever since. He did have a few we think he thought she was dead because the first few days that he was in there by himself and like she was gone, he was super depressed. He wouldn't eat. It was weird. And then she got out by Sassy at one point, which like her pen you can see Peter and he saw her and now he's been fine ever since. So it's very weird. I know pigs are smart, but I think they're smarter than I gave them credit for. Okay, so yeah, Peter's doing his thing. He's fine. And Petunia, so a pig's gestation period is 3 months, 3 weeks, and 3 days. And she was due July 3rd. And actually, that's exactly when she had her piglets, was July 3rd. So we knew she was getting close. She was starting to nest and just kind of uncomfortable. I don't know, like you can read so much of like what to expect, but then at the same time it's like what's actually happening. I want to give a shout out. I should probably see if they're on Instagram or not. I don't see a link to her Instagram, but the site is called Roots and Refuge. Her name is Jessica Sowards, but she wrote a blog post, looks like September 9th, 2022, a farrowing pigs, everything you need to know. And it was a lifesaver. Like, literally everything I needed to know was right there. Joy and I both, I read this article probably at least 20 times. We had it open when we were farrowing because we were like, what's happening? And it was just great. So, yeah, if you ever do farrow pigs, like, go find that article because she did a really good job of explaining everything, like, before, through, and after. It was really helpful and it was really easy to like follow along. So yeah, so the July 3rd, it was a Monday, so a week ago today actually, and what were we doing that day? We were home that day because Joey had off work and it was nap time for the kids. We had been checking her like all morning, just kind of keeping an eye on her. Nothing really, I don't know, nothing like made us think like, oh yeah, she's in labor. And so the kids were all laying down. Joey had laid down. And I was like, oh, I could really go for a nap. And I'm like, I better go check on her just in case. Like, we had been down probably an hour before. So I went down there and there was already one piglet out, and I'm like, oh, okay, here we go. And like right as I had gone down there, she had the second piglet, and she was standing when she had it, and it just zoomed right out of the vagine. And she freaked out. It came out, and she was just like snorting and like running around, and I was like, she's gonna kill these pigs. Like, what do you do? So I took them out and cleaned them off a little bit. And then she kind of laid down, and I was like, okay. So then I took one of the piglets and put it back in on her, and she did kind of calm down a little bit. So the two pigs were on her for a little, and she was just kind of laying there. And then, gosh, it was like a half hour or so after, and nothing had happened yet. And she kept getting up and down, and at this point, Joy had come out, because I was like, I don't really know what like we're doing here, but you read and it says like the first two can come out kind of fast, and then like after that, or after the first one, it can be a while. Now I forget my notes, but it's like a different interval between like the first couple and then the rest of them. They say like every 10-15 minutes she'll have another piglet, and so at this point it had been like a half an hour, and we weren't, like I said, we didn't know what we were doing. So Joey came in, and I was the designated helper outer because I have a long, skinny arm, and the problem was though she was so like crazy that I couldn't even get near her. So eventually this is why they have farrowing crates, you guys. Like, they're for the safety of pigs, I feel like, and humans. We didn't actually have a farrowing crate, but we kind of had her up between two gates. She had room to lay down, but she couldn't turn around, and it allowed us to work safely with her and not worry about her like breaking my arm off. So I went and sleeved her, and I could feel a piglet, but I'm like, I don't, how do you know if it's stuck or not? It's just one of those things I didn't know. And so we're reading we're reading like all these articles, and he's like, well, can you like get a hold of it, because like my whole arm was in there, and it had been like 45 minutes at this point. And I'm like, okay, it must be stuck. Like, if it hasn't progressed at all. Like, I couldn't tell that she was having any contractions, anything like that. So I'm like, okay, we're gonna pull it. And I was able to get like my two fingers around its ears and then get it out eventually. So that one came out, and she was still, she just wasn't safe to be around her piglets, which was unfortunate because, like, I know piglets right away, they want to eat. But we had them in a little tub with a heat lamp on them. And we just, whether or not it was like, I think it was the right thing to do. Like, I think she would have killed them if we would have tried to get them to nurse, because she, like, every time they would try to nurse on her, she would just freak out and stand up. And I know that I had gone live a couple times. I went live on our YouTube and Instagram or whatever, and a couple people had suggested, like, sometimes when the piglet nurses mama, it kind of releases more of that oxytocin so that she like has contractions and has another piglet. But that just wasn't in the cards for us, I think, this time around at least. So we kind of waited about 25 minutes every piglet before I sleeved her. A couple more she had on her own, and a couple I had to help. Again, whether or not it was the right call, I don't know. But she just, I don't know. She was dilated really well, but she just didn't seem like, maybe she got tired. She just didn't seem like she was like enjoying her life, which, if I had to push 10 babies out at me, I probably wouldn't have enjoyed my life either. But that's whatever. So, long story short, we got 10 healthy piglets out of her. There was 7 boys and 3 girls. All adorable. If you have not seen them, make sure to go on my Instagram, because that's like basically all I've been posting about. And once she had them all, and like we got the placenta out and all the things, she kind of calmed down a little bit. And so we opened up the gate a little bit, enough for her to be able to get comfortable. But we didn't want to give her too much room to like move around right away. And once she laid down, we started kind of putting piglets on her, and she did good. She was allowing them to nurse. She did get up and down a couple times, so we had to be really vigilant about having someone there to get piglets out of the way because they were only a couple hours old. They didn't really know any better, and she didn't know any better either. Like, she's a big lady, and so yeah, that was the process. It was an adrenaline rush, and it was super fun, um, but also like super stressful because it was like with cows you don't want to intervene if you don't have to because it's better for the calf to come out on their own, and I would assume that kind of the same thing goes for the piglet, but at the same time too, like I think piglet births, like with there's probably like a higher death loss, I would assume, with piglet births since there's so many coming out at once. And so we really didn't want to like risk that either. So we did interfere with her, but I think we also like did it sparingly. Like, it's not like I was pulling them all out at once. Like, we were waiting quite a long time between each one before I checked her. Um, and so yeah, we had the 10 healthy piglets. She was doing pretty good, and then we went up to eat dinner, and we were gone probably half an hour. And unfortunately, when Joey came back down after dinner, and she was laying on three of them, he got two of them out, and they were alive yet. She killed one of the males, which really sucked. But I know it's common. I didn't really know how common it was, like, but even in farrowing crates, they can lay on them. Um, so I appreciate everyone that was on Instagram that was like, it happens, like, unless you're keeping like an eye on them 24/7, that kind of stuff happens the first couple days. So that was a bummer. But the rest of the night we just checked on her ever so often, and then I woke up at like 2 o'clock that morning, and I was like, I better just go check on her. And she was chilling, like happy as a clam, and she's been a great mom ever since. Like, she kind of learned how to, like, she kind of sits down almost and then slowly lays down and then slowly turns to her side. And like, now that the piglets are I'd say once they're like 2 3 days old, they get around pretty good now. So they're kind of running around, like, she knows what she's doing, and the piglets also know what they're doing. So I think we're hopefully past like the stressful point of farrowing. We do need to process them yet, which I know needed like 3 days, I think, is like the sweet spot for processing. Life happened. So we're going to do that tonight. We're not going to dock tails because our last batch of feeder pigs, they didn't have dock tails, and they did good. So if we have any issues, we'll take care of that. We'll put little nose rings in them or something. But yeah, that's just one less thing I think that we have to worry about, like infection and stuff like that. So we just have to castrate the ones and then clip some teeth and give everyone a shot of iron. And shout out to our vet because it's not just a shot of iron. They actually were able to put an antibiotic in it too. So like the boys that we are castrating, they'll have an antibiotic just so that they don't get any infections and stuff like that, which will be nice. We watched a lot of YouTube videos on how to do it. We both took Intro to Animal Science in college, and we processed pigs then. I'm sure it's kind of the same thing. I don't know. I'm sure it'll go fine. But yeah, so that's just our pig update. Joey is all for doing it again, and I'm like, it's like having a baby. Like the first, I mean, it's longer for having a baby, but like the first 2 days of those piglets, it was just like, what did we do? Like, why are we doing this? But now they're just so cute, and they like run around, and so now we'll probably do it again. I don't know if we'll do another one this year though, because if like when she could get bred back again, we would have like piglets in the winter time, which might be a little so I don't know, maybe we'll wait till when would that be? Like, maybe if we waited till December or something, then she'd at least have them in March, April, whatever. So yeah, that is the excitement that we had last week. It was super cool, and it was really cool. I was like nervous to go live on Instagram. One, because I don't do it very often, but like two, I didn't know it was gonna happen. Like if I was pulling out dead piglets or something, I'd be like, eh. But it was really helpful because a couple people had hopped on that had previously ferreted out pigs, so they were kind of giving suggestions, and they put my mind at ease, like that how crazy she was being is not super abnormal. The fact that she's a gilt, so that the fact that she was having piglets for the first time ever, she didn't know what she was doing. Like just like a fresh heifer, they sometimes are a little bit crazy and have to calm down. So, I thought something was like seriously wrong with her because all the videos that we watched and like other people on social media that share farrowing, it's always like, oh, they're just laying there like pushing these babies out, and that was not our experience. But thankfully it went really well, I think, besides the one loss, and we're excited to have feeder pigs now. They won't be ready till like February, so it's kind of a little bit obviously late of when we would normally do it, but last year actually we got our pigs around this time and they were ready in February, so we still had buyers for them at least. And then the other nice thing about having them ready later is we don't have to fight with all the county fairs and state fairs and stuff that are bringing auction animals to the butcher shop, because there's a lot of animals that go in through those times, and then also there's a lot of people that purchase those animals, so that's what we got going for us. Okay, holy cow, I've been talking for 31 minutes. My voice is getting better though, like I haven't had to drink in a while, so now that I said that, it's probably gonna get worse again. Okay, well, I hope you guys enjoyed the birth story of the piglets. It was fun to talk about. I tried to like do as much on social media as I could, but at the same time, like we were just trying to make sure that these piglets were alive and well and coming out, and also we didn't know what we were doing. So, yeah, if you guys have any questions, make sure to head over to my Instagram and let me know. And yeah, Amber and I will be back next week to just kind of do a little update on life probably and see how everything's going. And then I think she mentioned last week we're going to take a little bit of a break, mainly as I start my new job, just so I can kind of get my footing there. We've got some county fairs and state fairs coming up, so we're both just going to be really busy. But I do think that we are going to go through our past episodes and just like replay, repost, I don't know how you want to say that, some of our like favorite episodes from a long time ago. So if you're a new listener, you can kind of check out the old videos that we did, or we've got a couple like super cool guests that we had that will be fun to revisit and stuff like that. So you won't miss us too much. We'll keep in touch, and I'm sure we'll still be on social media and stuff like that. But we just it's a lot to record every week, and with so much going on with both of us, we just kind of need a little break. So thank you guys so much for listening today. If you are not following us yet on social media, we're at Forward Farming Podcast on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Threads. I just made us a thread. Sorry, that was really... Wow, Gerxie got really excited about that. I made us a thread this morning. I probably won't use it very often because you like have to sign out of the account to log in with this account. So like if I'm on it on my personal page, I have to sign out to sign into the other one, whatever. But I do want to at least maybe post sometimes there. I thought it would be a really cool way for us to like discuss the episodes and like have a conversation with like that everyone can see, if that makes any sense. So if you're on Threads, go find us over there too at Forward Farming Podcast. Other than that, you can follow Amber at Cranberry Chats on all the things, and I am Epic Hilby on all the things. And yeah, we will catch you guys next week, and I hope you're all having an amazing day. Bye.